What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today I want to show you guys a poll that I did a couple of days ago when it comes to retirement. And this is very important because there are a lot of people out there that are looking at retiring or they're already retired and they're realizing that it is a struggle. Now, just so you guys know, I retired last year and there are a lot of different changes when it comes to retirement that you might not think about when you're working. But when you actually retire, now you're in a situation where you're on a fixed income and things are a little bit different than they were when you were working, and you can do overtime and things like that. And so in this video, I want to show you guys the poll first. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm also going to show you some different graphs and show you kind of how retirement is not only in the US, but around the world, because it's important for us to start focusing on what's going on in other parts of the world when it comes to retirement. When are they retiring? Are they retiring at the same age? Are they retiring earlier, younger? That's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. Okay, so first off, let's take a look at this poll here. So the poll reads, do you think you will be able to retire comfortably? And we had 1,200 people participate in this poll, and 20% of the people said yes, they think that they'll be able to retire comfortably. And we have 71% of the people said no, they don't think that they'll be able to retire comfortably. And 9% said that they're not planning on retiring at all. And so these are pretty strong numbers when it comes down to when you're looking at this. 71% of people are saying that they don't think that they're going to be able to retire comfortably, or they're not retired comfortably now. And so this is something we really need to pay attention to, because right now there's a big talk when it comes to Social Security and raising the age of Social Security and doing all this different type of stuff to reform Social Security, because we know in 10 years that the trust fund only will be bankrupt. So they will no longer have money in the trust fund, which means that Social Security will see a hit of about 20% decrease. And so that's why you hear a lot of talk right now of Social Security, and you're hearing politicians saying we're not going to cut Social Security, and it's going back and forth. But when it comes down to it, something needs to be done. But when we look at the bigger picture, of retirement, people don't feel confident that they're going to be able to retire comfortably when it comes to that time. And so I think I want to take a look at some other information here when it comes to retiring. And let's look at the overall spending. So the average annual spending by age range. And I think this should be no surprise. When you're younger, you're not paying as much, about $42,000 under 25. And a lot of people might still be living at home. You might be going to college and you're kind of on that budget. And so you're not spending a lot of money. You don't have a house in most cases. You might not have a vehicle. So this is how much you would be spending on an annual basis. Now, once you get to 25 to 34, that's where it jumps up a little bit, $63,905. That is the average annual spending. And that's when you'll get to the point where you might have graduated college. Now you have debt, so you're paying off that debt. Then you also might buy a car. You might be looking into buying a house. You might be looking into starting a family. So your expenses are definitely going to go up. And then when you get to the point where you're 35 to 44, $79,712, that's when you're pretty much in it, right? You have kids, you have expenses, 2 cars, all that, a house. And so you're paying a lot more money. You're still paying into your student loans probably. So that's where that expense goes. And then when you hit 45 to 54, that is the peak of your spending, at least in this poll that they show here. And so that's $83,854. And that's when you're spending the bulk of your money. And we know that because that's when your kids are starting to get older. So you're spending more money on your kids. You might be putting them through college. You're probably still paying off your student loans. You have vehicles. You might be buying vehicles for your kids as well. So that's when you're going to be spending the most amount. And of course, you're still paying off your house. But then when you start to get to 55 to 64, that's when you might be thinking about retiring, and that's when your expenses are going to start to decrease. Now, this is not for everyone, but this is just on average. This is what we're looking at. So you're at about 70,570. You might be getting to that point now where you're getting close to paying your house off if you didn't refinance, or if you bought your house as soon as you got a job when you were younger. And so you might be at that stage where you're getting ready to pay your house off, and you might have paid your student loans off. You might not have any car payments. Your kids might be old enough at this point to where they're self-sufficient, and you're not having to spend a lot of money on your children. And so now you've gotten to that point where your expenses are starting to decrease. Now at 65 to 74, that's what's $56,435. Now you're at a point where you might have your house paid off, student loans paid off, pretty much everything is paid off at this point. And so now you're starting to reap the benefits of retirement, hopefully, if you have enough saved up. And a lot of the loans that you took out when you were younger, those loans you're no longer paying into those loans. And then you obviously see when you get to 75 or older, then it decreases down to about $45,820. So your expenses drop. Now, if you're in a situation where you never buy a house, well, this will change a little bit, because you're going to be paying rent somewhere, and that rent is you're going to continue to pay that for the rest of your life. Whereas if you do buy a house and you own that house, then you no longer have to pay a mortgage. And so you can take that money and put that towards other things. And that's why it's a huge benefit if you can buy a house. And I know you'll have people tell you, oh, well, maybe you should just rent, or maybe you should buy a condo and things like that. I really think buying a house is the best thing for you to do. It's your biggest asset. In most people's situations, their biggest asset. And so when you get to that age where you can retire, you can do a number of things with your house that you can't do if you're just renting, or you can't do with even a condo, because a condo, you usually have an association tied to that. And so you're going to be paying that association regardless. That association usually goes up. So even if you pay your condo off, you still have this association that you're paying. Whereas if it's a house, you can completely pay the house off, and you don't have to pay an association or anything like that. So once you pay the house off, then you're free from mortgage, period. You don't have like a monthly payment. And so that's a good thing when it comes to houses. And then also, it could allow you to retire earlier, because you can say, I can move somewhere else. I can retire, move somewhere else. I could sell my house and go to an area where it's less expensive, pay cash for the house where I move into, and then you might even have money left over, and then you still don't have to worry about rent or paying a mortgage or anything, because you paid it all off. You live in an area that's less expensive, and you have a nest egg that you built in your house, so you have that money as well. Okay, one more thing I want to take a look at. Now, this is the global retirement statistics, okay? And this is interesting because we're looking at some of the developed countries. They're not showing you every country. But what I want to focus on, at the top here is the U.S. When we're looking at this, the official retirement age is on the right, and then the average retirement age is on the left. So the official retirement age is 67. So it's now 67. They're looking at full retirement for Social Security benefits. And the average retirement age is 66.85. So in the U.S., people tend to retire at around that age on average. And so some people retire younger, some people retire older, but on average, that's what we're looking at. Now, the interesting thing about this official retirement age, politicians right now are talking about raising that to 70. Now, if you look at this list, and I just want you to look over to the right, look at the official retirement age, and work your way down that list. And what do you see? You see that the U.S. is the highest. 67. There's no other country that's on this list that's higher than 67. You might have some other countries that are 67, but no other country is higher than 67. So that should tell you something when it comes to our retirement system. Is it working? Well, you're not able to retire younger. You're retiring at 67 or older. So that's generally what it's telling us. Now, what's interesting on this list, and you'll see this when we work our way down, is you have some countries where the full retirement age is, let's say, 62, and we'll just drop down. We can drop down to the very bottom here to Japan. The official retirement age is 62, but in Japan, people are choosing to retire at 69.95. So that's interesting in itself. People are working longer in Japan. I don't know exactly the reasons why. I will do some more research. I want to find out what's going on in other countries when it comes to retirement. And this is one thing that caught my eye, and I was thinking, why are they working so much longer? There are a variety of different reasons why this could be the case. The retirement system isn't as robust, and so they can't retire. Even though they're able to retire at 62, they can't retire because they don't have the finances to make that happen. So they're working longer. That could be the case. But I'm going to have to do more research when it comes to that. Now, working down the list from the top down, we looked at United States already. The UK, the official retirement age is 65, and the average retirement age is 64.5. Canada, the full retirement age is 65. The average retirement is 64.75. In Greece, or actually we skipped France. So in France, now this is interesting in France because right now you have protests going on. And we're talking millions of people are going out and protesting against what France wants to do with their retirement system. They want to actually raise it up 2 years. So they want to raise their official retirement age to 64. Right now it's 62. And so you're seeing people in France very upset with the pension program, and they're actually fighting against this right now. So the average retirement age in France is 60.55. Now looking at Greece, the official retirement age is 67, but in Greece, people are retiring at 60. So I think this is really interesting when you look at some of these countries where people are retiring, the full retirement age is 67, but they're able to retire early. And so that I think that's good because that means that financially they're able to make it happen, and they're actually taking advantage of that. And looking at Italy here, we have 66.58. That's for men. For women, it's 65.58. And the average retirement age is 61.7. So here again, they're retiring younger than the official full retirement age. The Netherlands is 66. And people are retiring at 63.25. In China, the official retirement age is 60, and people are retiring at 64. Actually, 60 for men, 50 for women, and the average retirement age is 64. In Israel, the full retirement age is 67 for men, 62 for women, and people are retiring at, on average, 67.8. New Zealand, the full retirement age is 65. People are choosing to retire at 68.4. Here's another country where the full retirement age is 65, but they're retiring later than the full retirement age. Mexico, the full retirement age is 65. People are retiring at 69. That's another country where it's kind of the opposite. The full retirement age is 65, but they're retiring at 69. And then we went over Japan again. 62 is the official retirement age, and people are retiring at 69.95. So very interesting looking at the different age, the official retirement age compared to when people are actually retiring, and just comparing the U.S. to these other countries. And where there's going to be a real strong talk coming in the very, very near future. As soon as they figure out what they're going to do with the debt ceiling, the next thing that they're going to be talking about is Social Security and how to reform Social Security. And what a lot of politicians are talking, I won't say a lot, what some politicians are talking about right now is raising that full retirement age to 70. And so if they do that, then we're going to be looking at this situation where we're off the charts. I mean, right now we're at the top when it comes to the official full retirement age, but we're going to go even higher. And so I know life expectancy, people are living longer, and the Social Security Administration is struggling because they're having to pay out Social Security for a longer period of time, and that wasn't anticipated. And so now they have to reform Social Security, and one of the ways that they're talking about reforming it is by raising that full retirement age. There are other ways that they're talking about reforming it, like raising the payroll tax, raising the cap when it comes to the payroll tax, things like that. So there are different strategies to fix this problem. But right now, just looking at the U.S. and looking at how people are struggling, it's still not enough. Now, Social Security was never made to completely fund your retirement 100%. However, there are some people that don't have any other savings. They don't have any other retirement savings, and so they're completely drawing their Social Security. That's all that they have. Some people have run out of the 401k, and I want to talk a little bit more about the 401k versus pensions and how things are shifting now, and people are in worse condition than they were 50 years ago when you had pensions and they were more common. Now you have a 401k, and that 401k can run out. And when it runs out, now you're in a situation where you're only collecting Social Security, and that's all you have. You don't have anything else when it comes to retirement. And so there are a lot of different things that have changed the way we're looking at retirement now, where retirement used to be something that everyone looked forward to. Now, just looking at the poll that I did and some of the other polls that I've looked at in the past, people are not looking forward to retiring. Some people are just thinking, I'm going to have to work for the rest of my life, or if I retire, I'm still going to have to work part-time somewhere because I'm not going to be able to make ends meet. So I want to know what you guys think. I also did another poll, so I will post a link to that poll so you guys can check that one out. It's about retirement as well. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.